Support for Radio Friends comes from OsteoStrong. Improvements in bone density, strength, and power can be achieved by weekly 5-minute no-sweat sessions on their 4-spectrum machines. These isometric robotic machines safely emulate high-impact loading on different parts of the skeletal system, which stimulates activity in bone-building cells. Balance and agility can be improved by 2-minute sessions on vibration plates. Every session is supervised by a trained coach. Learn more on Facebook or call to set up a complimentary wellness assessment and session. Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on January the 13th. This is Thursday, not Friday, January 13th. My friend Scott Christianson is with us. And whenever Scott's on, of course, we get to talk about artificial intelligence, which I find extremely interesting. But in many ways, Scott, I find it a little bit frightening, too, with artificial intelligence. How do you feel on that?
I think there are great use cases, especially in medicine, where you and I might get better diagnoses and we might get better treatments. But when you start to look at how it's being used in things like social media and other ways that make us more divided, make us more tribal, I think it can be really destructive. And of course, if you look far out into the future, some people are worried that artificial intelligence will become so intelligent that it may treat us like house cats.
Exactly. And in fact, I mentioned that to you several segments ago, and you said, no, you don't have to worry about that.
No, I don't think you and I have to worry about it. We'll be long dead before that happens.
But you think there is a possibility of that?
Well, it's always hard to predict the future, but that's what some folks have said. And one of the reasons is that you and I have kind of a limit on our brain, right? So I can't get an extra brain and stick it over here. But a computer, if you think about a computer system, it's usually not just one computer. It's usually racks and racks of servers. And if you want to double the capacity, you just get another building and you put more computers in it.
And they're all linked together.
They're all linked together.
And they're all talking to each other.
And they're all talking to each other.
And they're saying, wait a minute, if we can do this as two of us hooked together, let's find some other ones that we can hook up with, and we can take care of these not so intelligent human beings.
Well, I think more the danger that people are worried about is that you'll set an AI to do a task, and it will do that task, but it may not consider all the implications of what it's doing, such as the effect on humans or what could happen with our psychology. So in the same way that like social media uses AI, they want to keep us on the site, right?
Right.
So they keep me on the site by giving me something that makes me angry. Okay, I'm going to click on that. I'm going to share it. I'm going to like it, because it keeps me engaged. And that AI is just told to keep people engaged.
So when you're on, and you wanted to talk about the change in social media, the name changes, right?
Right.
It's being called now what?
Meta is what Facebook is changing their name to. So you will see when you log into Facebook or Instagram, you'll see it's Instagram by Meta or Facebook by Meta, and they believe that not only will we have these different platforms that we're on, but we may spend a large portion of our time existing in virtual worlds where we would be little avatars and we would be little three-dimensional computer-generated images sitting on a couch talking to each other.
Now that just does not appeal to me at all. In fact, I find that somewhat repulsive. Why can we not just talk to each other face to face? Why do we have to have little avatars representing us and someone else?
Yes. So there are some interesting applications of this that might be very productive. In fact, we had a professor here, Brian Carter, and he had experimented with this about 10 years ago, where he had this virtual world and he taught a class in it. Now, I prefer teaching face-to-face, but he was able to, if you think about Minecraft, or some of your listeners may be familiar with that, where you can build things in these virtual worlds, he was able to recreate 1920s Harlem in this virtual world. And so he was teaching a class about the history of that area and African Americans that lived there. And so he was able to do it for a very specific application that he couldn't have, recreated that out here on the quad or something. So I think there are some specialized applications, but I do think it's way overhyped right now that we're going to be sitting there in some sort of virtual world, because do I really want to have to put on a headset and you're at a headset and all that kind of stuff? It might be useful for certain applications, but it's not going to be that satisfying to interact with you that way.
Mm-hmm. So these are all things that we need to be thinking about that could be in our future, or perhaps in the next generation's future.
Right.
Is there a point that you personally feel, that the computers need to have a limit put on them?
Well, I don't know if the computers, but I certainly think we need to have some sort of reversal of the way that we view technology. Because right now, we let technology companies just kind of take over and move forward. And then we find like, oh, oops, there's big psychological consequences for young women about Instagram. It causes depression and self-harm. That's bad. Now do we regulate it? I think we need to do the reverse. We need to be asking, what is this technology going to do before you deploy it to billions of people? Mm-hmm. And so I think we need to flip the script a little bit. I'm not opposed to there being some friction or for things slowing down, right? So maybe we need to slow down technology so that we can find if it's really going to benefit society, or is it going to just make us argue more?
Yeah. So many good things have come from it, mm-hmm. Really good things. But I also feel that it has been a one reason that we are as divided as we are today. Our country, our families, and our world. I think we're so divided because of the social media too.
Yes, exactly. And I think what we're able to do is go on there and we see things that confirm our beliefs and do not challenge them. And we end up being more in our little silo, our little tribe.
And the other people who are thinking the other way are having the exact same information that they want to see fed to them.
Exactly. And that is being done on many of these platforms by an AI. It is basically decided that we need to keep Paul involved, and we need to have him clicking and coming back to our platform and seeing more ads. In order to do that, we're going to give him some information that says that this politician is bad, or this party is bad, or this policy is bad.
So AI is sending me that information.
Yeah,
when I look at something, they know that I'm looked at it because I'm liberal leaning. They're going to send me more liberal information.
Right. It's amplifying those particular sources. So it's very different than having something where you go to a liberal blog and you go to another liberal blog, or you see some other blog and maybe it's in between. That's very different than having these platforms where you're kind of in this little, what we call
manipulated.
Walled garden, and you're being fed these things that are amplified and amplified.
Okay. If you want more information on this, you can go to Learn About AI at Scott's website. Good information on there. Learn About AI. Scott, will you come back again?
I would love to.
Okay.
Always a blast.
We're out of time for today, but it's something you'd like to hear or see, drop me an email, pepperp@missouri.edu. Have yourself a nice day. Bye-bye.